Okay, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, we're going to work on Kata Bassai today. Several pronunciations for that, several meanings for the name. When it gets to a kata or a form, I say it doesn't matter what the name translates to mean. So many people get into arguments over what the name of a kata means, but they don't get into enough of study on the breakdown on the kata. I understand the kata to be Bassai, B-A-S-S-A-I. It is also pronounced Passai, P-A-S-S-A-I, and that depends on the part of Okinawa and or Japan you're from, and or the part of China with the dialect or the way you would throw it out. I also understand this kata to be over 400 years old and to be named after an individual. They say, some people say that the name means breaking down a fort. That's because of that one rushing attack after this particular move when you're coming in this way and they say you're breaking through a fort. Well, I, in one, don't believe the names when they translate like that. I believe them to be a person's name and or refer to pressure points or attack. I actually saw some notes on this particular kata done in silk, line drawings that were over 400 years old. I personally saw those. The kata, when I was in my competitive days, I did a kata called Bassai Dai and Bassai Show. They were a version that was added to, changed when it went to Japan and or into America. The kata was tournamentized, Americanized, and the kicks that were in the kata, let's place them up here, you'll get a higher score, which is true. When I work with people in my own school, I also make them do high kicks. Because when you can kick high and hard, you can kick lower with more accuracy and more power and do more damage. So yes, I work on high kicks, but when I do my kata and or my real self-defense, all my kicks are below the waist, all my hand movements are above the waist. And Kata Bassai, the way it's done and the way you've been seeing it today and the way you're learning it, is what we call the Tamari version. There's a Naha and a Shore version. This is the Tamari version. A lot of the Tamari katas were hidden and or not taught to Americans, and my feeling is it was because of the war, and we finished World War II, and they hid a lot of the moves in those kata. They simply took all the places and they'd say block, punch, block, 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 and everywhere they didn't want you to know the angle and direction of attack and or the fact that you were using pressure points, they would use the word block. We're out in Terre Haute, Indiana. We're doing a live seminar. We're at the YMCA with Mr. Rick Clark. Rick has helped me with a lot of the research. I've mentioned this in other seminars, but Rick has found between 30 and 50 books through steady research written before the war and many after the war, and the ones before the war say something totally different. They refer to pressure points, angle, direction, and that's what our research is about. My research also gets involved with doctors. It's medical. I can explain nerve-wise, neurologically, pressure point-wise, exactly what we're doing to the human body and how it works. We're working on Kata Bassai. Mr. Rick Clark, I'm going to let him come out. He's going to do that particular form, and we're going to take some question and answers and get back to breaking it down. Mr. Rick Clark. Okay, the question was asked why the right hand comes to the hip, or the hands come back to the hips in kata. I'm going to give you several keys. Now this is mentioned on other tapes, but I'm going to give you several keys to open the door. And a lot of these are keys I didn't have when I got into kata study. I didn't have these keys. I had to search and search and search and find them. First of all, any move in a kata that is sideways, for instance, this move in Bassai is to your side. Any of the moves that are sideways in a kata does not mean that your opponent is beside you. Your opponent is never beside you. When samurai or people that fought and the people that developed these katas fought people, they fought them looking straight at them. If you get in an argument or a fight today, isn't the person right there? That's right. You don't fight them over there, you don't fight them over there, you turn and face them if they were over there. So none of the moves in kata take in consideration the person's here or here. They take in consideration that the person is always there. And when you go sideways with any move in a kata, that means you go sideways on that person. Sideways gives you length and strength. Understand that? When you do a move that's 45-degree angles in a kata, it does not mean that your opponent is 45 and 45. It means that maybe you go 45 to use that technique on him. That gets you out of the way of his attack and puts you in position to use whatever that move is on him. When you do a kata, these are keys to open the door. When you do a kata and a move is repeated, if you do a kata and do a move on this side, and then do the same move on this side, it does not mean that you have opponents there and there. It usually means that that move will work on either side of the person in front of you. I can use that technique on your left side or your right side of your body. In Bassai, the kata has a move that is only done on this side. It doesn't repeat that move. That means that that particular move in the kata works best. Now it can work on the other side, but because of heart influence and the heart tilting just a little bit, heart is center, but because of heart lean or the tilt this way, it means that that move will work on that left side of your opponent with your right hand doing it. That's why that move is only on that side of the body. So that's how to actually open the door to kata. If you do any kata, whatever the move is, and you only do one of those moves here and you don't get to repeat it, if the person creating that kata knew why he was doing that move, then he would know that that move would work on that side only. You wouldn't use it on the other side of the body. Now the hands coming back to the hip, always in a kata, you are never chambering. You are never chambering. The hand coming back to the hip always represents that somehow you have grabbed your opponent and you have taken him to there. This is your power. We've had this on other tapes and we've demonstrated. Here, you stand up real quick. Take your hand and pull it against your chest. Pull it tight against your chest. Don't let me move it. If I try to move his hand, I almost move him. He's a little child before I can move his hand. This is your power. His power, leave it go now. His power is in here. That's what pulling the hand to here, here, or here represents. Some styles pull it in a little higher. Some pull it in here. Some pull it in here. This is best. The ones that pull it in higher, I wouldn't say is wrong, but if you do it, you feel your shoulder. If I chamber too high, my shoulder could be dislocated if my opponent fell into me. You understand what I'm saying? Just sitting on the floor, take your hand and put it up this high. Do you feel your shoulder almost come out of the socket? Let's say I really did a hard technique and my opponent fell into that connection. The shoulder is the easiest joint to dislocate in the body. That's why so many shoulders are injured in sports, etc. So this, I'm not saying it's wrong, but this is your power source. That's telling you that this is your power source. You had your hand here, now move your hand down a little bit, and you'll feel your shoulder has a comfortable bend. You are to attempt to pull your opponent's hand down. You are to do all techniques and get your opponent, his arm as far away from him as you can, and as close to your power as you can. So even a little child like this can use that as a power equalizer. If he can get you in here, maybe you can move him because he's little, but you cannot get that power. I'd almost move his body before I get his hand too far away from him. Everybody understand that? Yes, so the hand chambering here, that's what that means. That he's grabbed a hold of a larger opponent and he attempts to get him back to here. It's down. What is your name? Billy. Billy, okay. It's down. Very good. Give him a little round of applause. If you grab me and I take the hand, any technique, and pull him to here, this is what the hand's for. You're never chambering. I would never be fighting him and be doing this. Understand? With this meaning nothing. That's people explain that in kata. That disturbs me. They say, this is doing nothing, this is down blocking. This is blocking his punch, this is doing this, what's this doing? It's chambered, ready to hit him. You would never use that move in the street, would you? Would you use this move in the street? No. Same move though, look how I am. This appears in the kata. This appears in the kata, same move. Look here. Same move, I attempt to get him here. Everybody understand now? Why this chamber? There's no chamber. I have him and I strike. That's going to take him out. It's going to take him out if I do that. Understand the chamber?
Yes, sir.
And move sideways in the kata. Doesn't mean that I have a man here. It means I was facing him here. What's going to hurt this person more? If I hit him like this, or if I kick him like this, or is it going to hurt him more if I hit him like that and kicked him like that? I went sideways. Understand? I went sideways on my opponent. You've got to remember these keys as you break down Bassai. Because to go sideways means that I go sideways on my opponent to give me length and strength. If I kick his feet like this, he might feel it, he might not. He might feel it, he might not. But if I grab him and I turn sideways, and I kick through there now, that gives me length and strength. With hand techniques, length and strength. So any of the moves that are sideways in this kata or any kata you do, does not mean you're facing him here doing this to him. Does that make sense? No. Or does the fact that I was here and I went this way for that technique to work. I went sideways as you did in the kata. You turned sideways to do that particular move. I turned sideways to get to the angle and direction on him to hit him. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You can stay here. We're going to mark some pressure points. We'll mark some pressure points. Can I mark some dots on you?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to mark a couple dots on you. Mark, you come up too. Mark some dots on you.
Sir.
We're going to mark some dots and actually try to film the location. These are pressure points we're going to be using today. And we fade the camera out and we discuss them. Now, let's take the face right here. This is a pressure point right behind the jaw. You can take anyone and go behind it and do this, and he goes forward. You have the 7th cranial nerve there that's very important, and it looks like it has a root that aims that direction. The root aims this way. The point is here, right behind the base of that jaw. The point is there, but the angle and direction to attack my opponent is that way. The other pressure point that I use is right here. Also, right here. We're going to be explaining these today. I'm just making sure they're on the video so you know that that one's that way. That one is actually that way, the way the marker is aimed. That one can also be hit that way, which connects you with that point. So it can be hit down. Let me explain something though. This technique is an energy up technique. This technique is an energy down technique. If the opponent is larger than me, hitting him down doesn't mean a thing. I want to shoot up as if I'm going for the sky. Understand? Anytime my opponent is larger than me, the only technique I want to get him with up here is an energy up technique. I want to shoot in and up, that direction. But anytime the opponent is the same size as me or shorter than me, I cannot get an energy up, but I can energy down. Same size as me, he's about my size, I could use either up or down technique. Got it? I could use up or down. So, large opponent, I only want this dot, that direction. Afterwards, we'll all let you hit these dots. They're marked for you. Just walk up the mark anytime and go zip. So these are the techniques that I got to hit with. Only energy up. Now, if you are another large person like this guy, then you pay attention to this person's dots with the down. And or if you're the same height as him, you can use either. Bob Golden, stand up. We call him the pit bull. We got him the pit bull. You see a pit bull on his back? We call him the pit bull. That little joke come up because Bob is one of our, he's strong. He's stronger than he looks. When he first came to a seminar, I underestimated his strength. This guy's strong. And he's been one of our biggest pushers in making people believe. He grabs people and cranks on them and puts them down. But I had a guy mention me one time about Mark Marshall's size, and he said to me, well, you want me to go over and study with Bob? He says, well, look how little he is. He says, how can he do this? Now, the man hadn't been to a seminar yet. And he asked me where he could study. I said, go study with Bob. He said, well, I'm so much bigger. What can he do that little? I said, how big's a pit bull? As compared to a German shepherd. That pit bull grab a hold of you. I said, he's like a pit bull. So ever since that, we call him the pit bull, because he grabs a hold of these big guys and makes them scream. So we call him the pit bull for that reason. But Bob, I would want all down techniques. I would want down. Not up. If I wanted to knock him out. Now, only way that would change is, let's say, for some reason I was falling and or on the way to the floor, now I can catch him with an up technique. You understand? I have to be lower than the point. So if I am, for any reason, going down or leaning, or maybe somebody over here grabbed me by the hair or something, and I really want to knock him out, now I can get him with an energy up because I'm lower. I can fire my energy upward. But standing, to get my energy up at him, is very difficult. Very difficult unless I get down this way, because he's lower than I. This man is about my size, so I can connect with up or down. He's larger than me. I don't want down. I only want up. Understand? Pay attention to the points. Because he's lower, I can connect with this. And he'd go down. Sorry. Okay. Weaken the pit bull. But down, I want in and up. And I really shoot as if I'm shooting for this side of the head. This way. And he would go. Everybody see that? Now, he's my size. I have my choice. Up or down. Got it? I really have my choice of a hand up or a hand down technique. People say, are you going to hit him with the palm up or the palm down? When I get a big guy, up. Little guy, down. This guy could get it up or down. See what it does? Now, bite your jaws together. Because the arrow, this way, when you hit behind somebody's jaw that direction, it enters the pain directly into the cranial nerve, and they really can't take this. Keep the jaw together so I don't injure you. Back to front, watch here, this way. See him jump, see the jump? That's a sign that the technique harder is going to work. When you see a jump or a leg kick out, that's a sign that the technique will work. So when we discuss hitting the point, it will be back to front like that. Back to front. And I'm not doing that so they go out totally. We're going to put some people out, but I'm trying to explain the point so you understand them. Everybody understand those so far? And again, you'll have the videotape to rewind and back up and watch the dots. Okay, you can sit down. We have dots. We have a set of pressure points that we will use. Jim, here, you come here. Everybody knows the hole in the collarbone area. Everybody understands collarbone area? Collarbone, collarbone. In the hole of the collarbone. So you reach right in the collarbone. Greg, you come up here too. Right in the hole of the collarbone. Right inside the collarbone. Everyone understands the muscle that comes along here. You can grab everybody here. A good place to massage. Good place to massage, right here. This muscle, right here, he feels it because I'm reaching underneath the muscle. I'm reaching underneath the muscle. There's a nerve underneath the muscle. Actually controls the motion of this arm. But we're not worried about the motion of that arm. We're worried about the underneath that muscle controlling his standing. See the legs dip? Bigger, stronger, bigger the stronger the person, the more they dip. I'm going underneath the muscle. So yeah, what Dr. Spock did on Star Trek, they had something. When you were watching that, you should have wrote that down. This pressure point, underneath here. The pressure point in the collarbone. In the collarbone. First of all, in the collarbone connects with your wrist. This is the medial nerve. When I go into the middle of the arm and dig in this way, he gets a little pain, that's the medial nerve. If I go in here, he gets a little pain. But it's the same nerve. It's the medial nerve. If I put my thumb in here and push in here, we can drop him and he'll feel the pain along the whole nerve. You have to watch playing with that because that also controls the sac around the heart. So now what I'm showing is getting a little dangerous. But when you do a hand technique in the kata that you're learning, you can be just holding the medial nerve and going here. Doesn't it look similar to the move I had you do in the kata, where the hands go out in this position? A lot of times done, if he grabbed me, then I just touch the medial nerve. I can touch it there, or I can touch it here. It's more effective at the wrist, digging in towards the fist, that direction. In here, place here. The technique. Sorry. You have to watch that you haven't hit the medial nerve first, though, and do that technique. Because then you're affecting the heart. In other words, let's say I punched his arm, or hit that arm, or even hit him in the collarbone area. and then grab those two places. It's not saying you're going to have a heart attack, but there's a chance that it could injure the heart, which we don't take that chance in a seminar, and you don't take that chance with anyone else. Anyone doing these techniques, even from the video, you should only do nerve or pressure point techniques 15 minutes in a week. In a week, because they become accumulative. I do not come in here and do those same two techniques to this guy over and over and over. That's why I had the other ones sit down, because I had banged their heads. Now I bang their heads, now I'm after the heart. I don't do the same person with the head and the heart. Do the same person with the head and the heart, and then start with a lung technique, and you're going to injure him, because you're injuring head, heart, and lungs. Like this. We call these 4 points. 4 points. Collarbone, collarbone, under the muscle, right here, under the muscle. These 4 points actually become more effective if my opponent is dizzy. You don't have to have him knocked out. Just dizzy. You come here. He says, oh, it's no, I only picked somebody because a thinner gi, we can show it. I want to make sure it's clear on video. Here, we did this. You saw this. You saw this. You saw this. You saw this. That's just by itself. I didn't do his hand. These 4 points are what I call heart-associated points that go on alert or standby if the man is dizzy or knocked out. I saw a pro boxer one time hit the man and dizzy him, make a hammer. He had a hammer fist. He didn't make it. He had his gloves on. And he hit the man like that. The guy fell down. Now, I don't know if he knew that. Someone taught him that. But that's the way it works. I saw that in a pro fight. If for any reason my opponent is dizzy, with anything I did, bang, and he's just temporarily dizzy, those 4 points actually go like this. They come up on alert. You understand? And the angle and direction to attack him is straight down. Straight down. These two being the weakest, because the heart tilts this way. Got that? Because of heart tilt. A little weaker. If I dizzy this man with any technique, bang, he's dizzy, and hit him on that, it kicks his legs out. That's why I showed the big guy, when I did this, the legs would kick out. The legs go out. If he's dizzy, and I want him to drop, you've been to my other seminars where I have hit people and dizzied them. And I catch him in or wake him up, I don't let him go down. This is one of the techniques I've said that I can't show at seminars because he could break his leg. If I dizzy him and go like that, even with a chop on that muscle, his legs will kick out like his legs kick out, and he falls to the floor. No control. It kicks these out, but he could break or sprain a leg. He could break the knee area especially, and or even dislocate a hip, going down in that manner with no one catching him and or that. So when I hit somebody and he's dizzy, if you want to drop the fight, that's where you hit. And you have 4 places, these two being the best. That's what you're doing with this technique in Bassai. You are mapping that the angle and direction is down. If you truly hit him with this technique, truly hit him with that technique, and he's dizzy and has not fallen, you are to hit there and there. This being the weakest, this is also the arm that goes first on a stroke. Heart attack, stroke. That arm goes out first because of the heart influence on that side. So that's why in Bassai you're mapping out, striking to the jaw that I showed you with the dot, and you're tapping in the collarbone or on the muscle. Now you can use these two over here, but this side is more dangerous to your opponent. Everybody understand that now? So you got the pressure points I'm showing you on the jaw, and you got the 4 pressure points that we use here. And the ones we're using here are right in this hole. Right in this hole. Let me mark, and you just dip right in the collarbone hole. Can the camera see that? Mm-hmm. Right in the collarbone hole. Right in the collarbone hole. Got ink all over me. Anyone have any questions on those points? You're going to fade that out when I say that, questions. But anyone have any questions at that point, on these points? Okay, I'm marking the points we're going to use. Then we're going to be breaking down and show you how to connect all these dots. But these points are very dangerous. You should be practiced with restraint. When I do these points, I only flick or touch them. I don't hit. They affect either the head and or the heart, or sometimes both. But I'm showing you the points that we do connect in our seminars. If you feel your own eyebrow, if you rub along your own eyebrow, you'll feel a little indentation. You feel a little indentation. You feel a little indentation in that bone. Along here is the supraorbital nerve, which goes directly into the cranial nervous system. A lot of attacking that's done in kata or form is up that way, is up this way. This particular move, I'm telling you, actually has 3 points there. I told you there's many places in the human body where there are 3 pressure points. 1, 2, 3. Now, not up where I have them because you wouldn't see them. They're really right here under the bone, at the roll of the bone. 1, 2, 3. Here. I put them here so you have the idea, but you take the eyebrow, go underneath the bone, and the nerve is just underneath the bone. Just underneath the bone. 1, 2, 3. Most of the moves that are this way in a kata, that's where you're striking. You're getting, now close your eyes so I don't injure you. You're getting these knuckles that will roll underneath that bone to enter direct pain into the supraorbital nerve and shut off the cranial nervous system. That is a killing move. There's no way to water that down. If I did anything, that's why I got different people. If I did anything to activate cranial nerves, which means the people I had up and I chopped or hit their jaw, that has the cranial nerve activated. A nerve, when it's activated, stays active for up to 20 minutes. Now, 20 minutes, depending on the amount or severity of the hit. If it's a good hard hit, I can go back 10 minutes later and put the guy away because the nerve is still carrying a message. This is in physiology books. You hit, that activates. Touching it only activates it for a few seconds. So yes, there are places to touch and strike. This will take a person out with this move. If nothing else, just your knuckle going to take out his eye, but it rolls underneath here. Keep your eyes shut. Comes underneath. You see the reaction you get from that? That's where your up punch is to. In the hanchi, we punch up with that. You punch up, that's where it's to in the hanchi. In the hanchi, we also show coming off the back of the arm. And if I come off the arm and hold the heart points and connect up in the eye, that can kill. Because that's 5 pressure points. 1 pressure point causes pain. 2 causes pain in the middle. 3 cause a knockout. This is an instant knockout. Instant. Bang! Knockout. He grabs me, fight's over. If I did anything to activate that, tapped him here, hit him this way, the right angle and direction, and then punch him there, we could kill him. We'd kill him. If someone has a heavy roof, now he doesn't have heavy enough, but you have certainly seen the people that look like they have a little house built over their eye. Have you seen that? They look like, I didn't see one around the room sharp enough because I wanted to show you. I actually had a heavy roof person. I don't care if you believe this or not, but if they have a heavy roof that comes out like this, like there's a little shoulder over their eye, they usually have a high forehead also. That indicates a lot of energy and weakness to that area. Got that? Energy and weakness to that area. I actually took and flicked up under the bone and knocked the man out with that move. Demonstrating it. He was in excess of 6'3", roof out over, and I went doink and he passed out because that is 3 pressure points. Normally you don't knock out with that easy a move there. Normally you would punch there and attack there. If nothing else, it's going to mess up his eye. That's almost as good as sticking a finger in the eye, because this is going to connect. But you want these knuckles to roll under the bone and connect, keep your eye shut, just like this. See the effect it has? If, now you shut your eye, because I'm going to tap you. I just want you to see the body reaction on a tap. Right here. There you go. See the head start to go? I flick this point, and this point. Now you flick all 3, if I can get the finger to. Can I see the head want to go? You're to punch all 3. These knuckles will get to all 3. Now, a lot of moves in kata come this way. Do this way. A lot of come this way. A lot come this way. An Oriental person, a lot of these moves were devised by Oriental people. But an Oriental person lacks this bone sticking out. An Oriental person's points are just the opposite, the yin and the yang of a white person. If this bone is not out, he is smooth, right? It goes back. But he has a bone sharp here, does he not? You look next time. He has a high cheekbone. High cheekbone means he is very vulnerable in the high cheekbone because it stretches the nerve that comes in through here, and the higher his cheekbone, it pulls the nerve tight. And this is very vulnerable down here, which I cannot get at the average American or white person because this is out. If I were going to fight this man, I would hit him this way. But if he didn't have this and this cheekbone was out, I would not use this technique. I would use this technique. That is even more dangerous. You heard me mention in a few of my seminars that some of the Oriental people have a little more vulnerability and some moves that can injure them where Americans don't. This is one of the ones because your heart meridian that comes off your small bone side, off your little finger, your heart meridian ends right here below the eye. So affecting or doing something on this man's little finger and or the heart meridian and or the heart meridian, the heart line pressure points, and then wrapping down and in, you are still affecting the heart meridian and shooting at the end of the meridian downward into the person's body. That is a move that can kill someone. He does not have to be an Oriental for that to work. He just has to have the reverse eye pattern of this man, which some whites do, some blacks do. I mean, you just have to look at your opponent. If he sticks out here, this man needs hit in and up. If he's smooth here and protrudes with the cheekbone, he needs wrapped down. That's where a lot of these moves are too in kata. When you do these augmented moves like this, you are grabbing the heart meridian and striking down on that eye bone. And you want the knuckle again, which I can't do on him because of this roof, but you want the knuckle to hit just along this bone. You're not worried about his eyeball. You're worried about that bone getting attacked. Would that be in your move? Very deadly though, because you are at the heart meridian. We're up here, you're at the cranial nerve. You're going to take it to the head, you're going to take it to the heart. So that's how kata maps out the angle and direction to attack people. A lot of moves like this in kata though, aren't there? That's because a lot of the people were Orientals working among other Orientals. Okay, now any questions on this? Who else? We need some more faces up there. You want to come up? You up here? You might as well come back up. You got lines on you. You come up. What's your name?
Tom.
And what school you at?
Jim Collins.
Okay, Jim Corns. That was blown away in the tornado. She asked, what can she do to hurt somebody? Well, that's what the purpose of this seminar is about. We're going to try to get her doing it, though. So just to do it right off the bat. But we're going to try to pair off and get you working on these techniques so you feel them. If you're doing the right angle and direction, size doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. The question come up, what's a meridian? You have 14 meridians in the body, but they actually control the organs. It's actually nerves, neurologically, that connect somehow through the spine, through the autonomic nervous system, to affect a given organ. So when we say heart meridian, it means too much work in there somehow is affecting the heart. Somehow on this big bone side, you are affecting the lungs. We have a heart meridian, we have a lung meridian. You do not have to know those meridians. You do not have to know those. If you want to study them, that's fine. Get a book on acupuncture. You want to know the move in the kata. And the kata tells you what you're doing, and it's understood that you are attacking this angle and direction. Another angle and direction that we attack with, at the eye that I just finished with, there is an energy that comes south like this. Right in front of the jawbone, comes off the temple, there is an energy that goes south like this. It is one of the few places in the body where two energies come and meet. That's why you can do this to people and they rise up. But that's not the way to do it. How many times do I go to a martial arts school or in my travels around the world, they teach a woman this size to take a palm strike, do they not? And palm this man under the chin. Under the chin. Don't they? All over the world. All that is going to do is make him aggressive. They tell him to palm under the nose. Under the nose is not good for a woman in self-defense. You palm under his nose if it's a rape situation. You palm under the nose. You're going to bloody the nose, maybe break it, but you're going to make it a violent rape situation. You are not going to knock him out. If bite your teeth together so it'll hurt you. If I hit him like this, he feels it, but here, watch the difference in the eyes. Keep your jaw together. This will put the person out. That will put him out. Just a little bit harder. So all I needed to pass out. Did you see the difference? And you felt it go up into the head, did you not? Because I feel your cranial nerve jumping all the way back here. I feel the nerve jumping all the way back here. We lit up your whole head. You have to experience that. But when somebody is hit here, that's going to put them out versus sitting here. Here, you come over here. Keep your jaw together. Take your palm. Now, I don't want to hit you. I don't want you to hit him too hard, but you would really have to get up under here, and I want a little twist like this. Okay? Now, I don't want you to. You're not doing any pressure points over here, but I want you to hold his head for support, so you don't whiplash the neck. You understand? You're only holding the head here. Keep your teeth together, and I want you to give him a shot like that up under there and see what happens. Now, not hard. Don't take it from way back here. He says, I'm not trying to rape you. That's good. Okay, just hold the head, and just keep your hand here. Naturally, you would do it from down here, and get a little bit of bend back, and that's what we want. Now, give him a shot. See the effect you got? Now you need to work on that though. You need to no because she slipped off. She slipped off. You really got to get underneath here. He feels that you got to be underneath there, and with the twist. Yeah, keep your jaw together right here. That's going to put him away. Whoa! Hold him up. Hold him up. Get him back. Sorry. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's my orientation here.
Yes. Little secret. I go out and people tell me they tried the knockouts and they can't get them to work, or they're not working the same as I am. I tried to get her not to stiffen up and not to take it from way back here. It's not distance that counts. I was in close. One little secret. If I want to put somebody out, is I let my hands hang. See my hands? It's a little secret, guys. I let my hands hang. Won't your hands be hanging in a self-defense? You'll be down, up they come. If I raise my hands to fight, that's why boxers' hands go to sleep. That's why people that go become barbers have to train to hold their hands up. Your energy starts to reverse. You hold your hands up in any job and they'll be so tired after the first day you won't be able to lift them. That's not muscle. Your energy running in your arm actually starts to reverse and go the other way. If I am going to hit him and fight, my energy is going the other way. It starts the minute I do this. That's why when they show healing charts, they show a man like this. The energy's in reverse. I want my energy to run to my fingers, don't I? I let my hands go down. A lot of times if I really want somebody to pass out big time, which we're building up for that, this is only the opening, but if I want them to pass out big time, I will even shake or do this for a second. And then, wham, out he goes. I want the energy running down, and then I want to use that energy that's coming this way on that man. Where that's what she was already up to here and ready to do this. She really wanted the hand to be down, and then come in. You want that hand up, and then twist. I said earlier, you do not have to know the names of the meridians. They're involved in kata. Also, when I talk about meridians, I want to clear this up because I've even mentioned early on in seminars, you should not buy and study acupuncture books to learn this. That can give you an idea of the meridians and the pressure points. I have been with people that are acupuncturists, hand healers. I was at a hand healing school in Japan. I've been with 80-year-old Chinese people do acupuncture their whole life. My wife will tell you we were with a Chinese man about 4 or 5 years ago, close to 80 years old, doing acupuncture for 50 years. That man said, he complimented me, and he said, I've heard that this art of a nerve tacking and a pressure point tacking existed. He said, I even was told that a few of these pressure points would do what you did. But you're the first one I've seen demonstrated and could do it. He said that. You're the first one I've seen. You can just take somebody and do it. And it is because the notes I have and the things my study is towards the hurting. The meridians are somewhat the same, but there's a whole different chart for hurting the human body. Different times of the day when you get into that, different areas, different meridians. Same meridian line, but a different purpose, because we activate. For instance, here, stand up here quick. And I only want to clear this up so somebody watching the tape doesn't think I'm a dummy. I showed the meridian coming straight up to the eye. Well, the heart meridian comes up the eye, but I also know that that's the stomach meridian. That's the stomach meridian. Everything in the body serves three purposes. Every pressure point has three purposes. One is area control. That's the first purpose. When I catch a pressure point here on his wrist, first purpose is the wrist. So that's why we use this to bend or break a wrist or put somebody down. Second purpose, heart meridian. So if I activate the heart and strike there, I have heart, and that is actually a heart meridian. But if I activate stomach meridian, coming up through the front and strike, that is also stomach meridian. In other words, I turn on what I'm after. You understand what I'm saying? This line is stomach, this line is heart. That pressure point there is also for area control. But if I activated his stomach meridian, and or even did anything in the stomach and hit him there, it's more effective. And in the kata, you'll see when I break down, so I did mention this is heart meridian, and that's the deep meaning for that particular meridian. Every pressure point serves three purposes. That's why this kata has 3 strikes. That's why it has 3 of these. It has 3. Katas will have 3 to tell you that 3 pressure points cause a knockout. When there's 2, it usually would tell you that it works on either side of the body. That's why there's only 2 moves. Means I can use it on my opponent's left side or right side if he's facing me, if there were only 2 moves of a given move. When there's 3, it tells you that 3 cause a knockout. Every pressure point serves 3 purposes. That's what it tells you. It also tells you, and this is demonstrated on another tape. I don't want to put too much repeat on this tape that's on other tapes, and I just completed tapes. And what I recommend is I have one continuous course of the tapes. You don't just jump out of order. That's trying to learn the alphabet by starting in the middle. You got to start at tape 1 and come forward. Every pressure point, every nerve, a nerve has a protective juice, a protection. It releases protection. A nerve does. You only, when somebody hits you, the nerve is protected and you can take a shot. But when they hit you the second time, the nerve only has 80% protection available. The third time, it has no protection available. Understand that? So stand up here quick, Jerry. If I hit him, he'll feel it. He felt that. But now same punch, second time, he felt it more. He only had 80% protection. The third one, if I truly unload, you put him down, I'll hit him less. Feel it? All right?
Yes.
And I actually hit with less. I held that one back. There you can see it. Where you're to unload. And that's what 3 means. When you do the 3 punches in that kata, You're telling yourself that. You're telling yourself that. 3, you're also using 3 different pressure points when you get advanced. I have a pressure point I teach in the rib cage, the solar plex, and the other side of the ribs that activate. So it looks like I am punching. The leading is body English. The stepping tells you something. Everything tells you. 3 tell you 3 cause a knockout. What else does 3 tell you? 3 tells you energies. Energies. Chinese believe there's only 3 energies. They believe the universe has its own energy. They believe the earth has its own energy. The streams running, the wind blowing, this is all an energy on the earth. And they believe the 3rd existence of energy is man. Man, meaning man, woman, animals, everything alive has an energy. And they only believe there's 3 energies. So everything will be 3s. 3 keeps popping up. 3 means a pressure point. If I hit this, stand up quick. Sir. If I hit this guy on a pressure point, he feels it. But the 2nd time it hurts more, 3rd time it hurts more. That's what that tells you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 3 pressure points cause a knockout. You don't see me fire in a nut, you have to understand that. So when you see the 3s in katas, it should be telling you this little story of the human body. We're going to start to break down the moves of the kata. Then you're going to pair off and work on them. First one, even most basic, you've done so many times before, but you're here. You have a man here, and you're going to go to here. That's a man waving a fist in your face. A man with a fist in your face. You've done that, that's another video, so we don't have to get at it again. But if a man, stand up quick. He waves a fist in my face. This represents that you push at the ring finger. You lock on those 2 pressure points that control the wrist and the fist, and you're pushing right here, and you're going to put a person down. That's what this represents. So you'll know that, and if you don't know it, you'll get it from other videos, or we've done that in the past. This you've even done in the past, but you come here. Cat stance. Stance is most important. Stance transfers energy down. In that same kata, I told you to pivot your feet. Pivot your feet. Even on that throwback, you went to a horse, but when you were doing this, you should pivot the feet at that point. That plants my energy down and makes sure that my effort and energy going into you is in a downward motion or pattern. This is downward. If you have somebody wave a finger in your face, and you've been through this before, stand up again. He sticks a finger in my face, telling me what he's going to do to me. I catch the finger. He could even be doing this against me. I catch the finger. This is the move in that kata. And the cat stance is important because you see how I have his arm trapped? I want to break the finger. Do I not? I want to injure it. No, he doesn't want it broken, but I want to injure it. I would use the other hand. But you see how the movement, the cat stance, locks his arm? He cannot get away. He cannot get away, and I use it like an anvil to trap and break the finger and put him down or do what we want for control. So that's the meaning of this in the kata form. The meaning of this motion, let's say, go back up again. He's big, I like this one. Let's say I caught, and it don't matter which hand. Let's say I caught the hand, and for any reason I have difficulty going down. Let's say I'm smaller, I grab, I didn't catch the pressure point, and I have some difficulty, then I am to leap this way. I am to leap and let his body weight falling injure the finger. Anytime we do this leaping motion in a form, you have so many forms that do the leaping motion, you are going behind your opponent. You never do this move in front. I would never do this move in front of him. He can push me off balance. I can't fight. I can't hit him hard with my feet like this. But if I catch him with this and I want to throw him, I go beyond him. I go like that, which starts him off balance. And I pull my leg up from behind so I don't fall on him. It's like an anchor. I can throw it out to recover. So that's the meaning of that rush. You're going beyond the opponent. Anytime you have a jump, some styles do it with an actual jump, some do it with a leap, some leap this direction, some leap that direction. As you leap into kata, you have someone's joint, finger, or hand. And it means he's bigger and stronger than you, and you use body English to break it as that move into kata. And that transfers the energy down. Everybody understand that? Any questions at this point? Matters. Even stance, even stepping. We do this mild. This is a dangerous technique, but everybody C-steps. C-step. They ask, why the C-step? Balance. That's one way. C-step is also used to protect your groin. C-step, even though it's a step and a motion like that, Sean, step up quick. C-step is used if this man kicks at me. I cover my groin with the motion here of the C-step. I cover the groin. If he kick with that leg so we get it on camera. If he's kicking, I not only cover, but the idea is to go behind and kick the other leg. The motion would be this way. Drawing a C, which if he was kicking for here, I would be coming around and I would really kick it. I'd want to just put him down nice. So the C step is used to attack the back leg, the leg he's standing on. So even the C step, shifting, cat stance, you're using that. Put him down. So we break down the kata. We have the finger. We told you this is a fist. We also have the possibility that he was waving a fist and he was strong. Let's say, get up here again. Wave a fist, like you're angry with me. I catch here and we put him down. Well, then we do this with it. That's why this leap. We do this and we naturally hang on to here. I didn't want to sprain the wrist. And we bend that fist. And we actually leap with it. The hand is to stay here. Is to stay right here because you're showing that this at the ring finger is the pressure point that you are to be on. But it's also telling you that you always keep your hand up top. Anytime I grab somebody, he waves a fist, and I grab, I am telling myself that my palm is at the ring finger, but my fingers stay here. I do not do this. I've seen people do this. He can fight that. I want this. See the bend? Let's say I go to bend and he tries to punch me with that hand. I have this hand for cover and right into the face. I have this hand for neck, for eyes, for whatever I want, for whatever pressure point. Because my hand is here. All I have to do if he goes to move is slip off with this hand. Slip off with that hand to other points that are in the kata. Bang, boom, down he goes. Or boom, this way. Or up and in that way, or down that way. So that's why this hand is like that. So when you do that kata and you go like this, that's to remind you, never grab his fist. That's why it's not like that. It's like that. It's like that when you bow. It's like that. That's up top. The push. We have several breakdowns. Every move we do in every kata has at least 3 understandings. The initial one that we use is against the push. You come on. This man goes to push me, a 2-handed push. Just this move in the kata that we do is telling you to take these hands this way. That's what this is telling you. When someone's pushing you, regardless of strength, he cannot stop you from doing this. He cannot stop this. And the next move in a kata was like that, right? The hammer fist. It was this way, hammer fist. Hammer fist was sideways. You were facing here, you went like this, you hammer fist. If I have him here, I go like that. I'm only going to switch sides. It's left-handed in the kata, but I would strike this way. So I'm getting it on camera. But then I would push his hands together and attack back here. As in the kata, I would push together and attack over here. More advanced, I can attack just here if it's from a grab. Just this can take the person out from a grab. So just this move can be attacking the person. And then that can be setting up the head, and then that's going to take him out. That hammer fist, which I don't want to do because I activate the nerves, and then you attack the head. Okay, stop. Any questions? You're going to get up. We're going to have you work on the finger one. We're going to have a finger at your chest, because you're going to be doing that soon anyway. On a finger at the chest, you catch the finger and put him down. Everybody pair off and work on that.
Sir, what are the hands from this 4?
Okay, you have body movement and body English in kata. Just in that particular kata, you step with the right leg this way. The right leg can also be used as a kick out. You can kick out his leg. You can tread on pressure points on the foot. And you strike down with this. And you sometimes punch with this. We're going to pick it up with 2 ways. I'm going to show you what happens if, let me use you. Let's say my opponent does grab me. And I'm only showing this because it can be from anything. I could have grabbed him. I can lead out by grabbing him. We do have this on other tapes, but on the back of the arm, dead center, right in the tricep area, is a pressure point that only requires hitting. Not pushing, not rubbing, nothing. Hitting is going to put him down. And we catch the hit point with a hit technique. If I got down at the elbow on the Golgi's tendon, I would do a rub point. So even though this technique looks like it's hitting, let's say he grabbed me and I'm at the Golgi tendon, I would rub that point to get into here. But in that particular kata, you step like this. As I have my man grab me, which would be front, I catch him and trap him to here. That's the hand on the hip. And the next move is going to catch him here, which puts him just like that. And if I complete the move and pull at the same time, we can get a shoulder separation or dislocate. If he's a bigger, stronger person and maybe doesn't go all the way down, we can couple. Let's say he grabs me and I catch him here and he goes here, then this punch can catch him back in the back of the head, nape of the neck. So then the punch can be used in conjunction with it. I'm going to get Rick Clark up to break down the next move and show you what it's for.
The next motion in the form comes to here. Again, your feet are in side-facing or horse position, which means that you want to be facing your opponent sideways or that they're side-facing position to you. So as he either grabs me or throws a punch with this hand or pushes, you can do the technique of pulling, grabbing the wrist points, pulling, torquing down to the bottom of your hand, then doing this U-punch back using these 2 knuckles down on the occipital foramen, right down in the hollow of his head. Here. That'll clip the guy down. Sit, 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 sit.
You're right. He didn't mean that. Give him a round of applause.
person is falling down, you can use the inside foot, if the head is down low, to catch your foot up inside the face, or if you miss a little bit here, this foot then can kick this leg out. As they go down, use the back of your hand, the two bones, right down in the angle of the neck here, the same technique popping down here, so that you can set up this out. You get a nice little reaction on him there, okay? So.
Yeah, go back there.
Okay.
Sean, you go back there too. Catch him. Z punish a point marker. Takes 3 points. I want to use somebody that's not activated. Somebody has them hitting the head and beating the arms. But when you tap, we mark this point. X marks the spot, right at the base of the jaw. If, in fact, that's only 1 point. I marked the collarbone earlier, and I marked the point under the muscle earlier. We have this, there. Then we have the dot here, that way. The move into kata is like this, is it not? I can tap. 1 point doesn't knock him out. He can take the shot usually on 1 point. Back to front, he might go out. Back to front, he can go out. But the move in the kata is going to be this way, that way, or I can hook in here. That's dangerous. I'm telling you right now because I told you that connects closest to the heart. So I will tap the muscle one. I will not use the collarbone one. 1, 2, 3. The move in the kata is 1, 2, 3. Is it not? Yes, sir. It's all on that side. Let's say he grabs me. And it could have been with one hand or both hands. It doesn't matter. This is to lock him in and activate, which I'm not going to do, but I am to hit the arm. I am to hit the arm with this. You all know that hitting the arm makes that weaker. That gets me up to 4 or 5 points. That's covered on other tapes. This is the way the kata move goes. Actually, that could knock him out. But let's say he can, put your feet together so I don't injure you. Let's say he can take this. I'll go easy. He goes easy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Easy as I can do it. It was as easy as I can do it.
What do you think, Britt?
Well, sure, I had to hit him. I needed the dots.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, see, he said, I can't believe I drew the pictures on it with the markers. Well, I had to do that. If we get in a fight, I have to draw the dots. You connect the dots. You all right? If, let's say he grabs me with 2 hands, this actually can weaken this. That's going to put him out. Get him out. Are they? Okay. Well, he can come back. Whoa! I wasn't ready. You better come back. Whoa! Give him a round of applause. I thought he was back, and he wasn't back. So you understand why the windshield wiper now? Yes?
Yes, sir.
In other words, you are to hit the arms on the mid-level points. They're both hit activation points. And that's why the windshield wiper. He grabs you with two hands, both sets of points, strike. And then that should have done it. That's 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Completes the kata. In other words, I did 1, 2, 3 on him, and I did 1, 2, 3 on him, but I did a different 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 this way. In reality, they should be 1, 2, 3 all at one shot. And I'm really to get in that collarbone. I'm to hook into the collarbone for that strike. And if that didn't do it, what's next in the kata? So the punch doesn't have to be the 3 punches. If you hit him with this, this, and this, the punch is what's next, with full body pivot. And full body pivot. And full body pivot, different opponent. 1, 2, 3. We use these. Where's the guy from Bloomington? Oh, come on up here. I'm getting ready now. I'm getting on. You just want to, I just try to watch I don't hurt anybody.
Supposed to be nicer.
I'm being nicer. That's right. Right there, where the X's are, I can hit either one of those. They connect with the ribs. This is gallbladder meridian. It comes like this. Actually, it comes like this. And it ends there. There's actually 3 points right there. Usually you can't get 3 unless you give a little twist. But the ribs activate. Doesn't it look like a move in the kata? The arm, which I'm not going to do, you already saw the chop on this side. The arm activates with this pressure point in here, pressure point here. Arm activates for the chop. So that's one explanation, that I can hit the arm and or touch the arm. I do not need much on the arm. I do not need much on the arm. If I touch someone's arm, and I'm not going to knock him out with this one, but if I touch someone's arm, I need a heavier hit. Yeah, you come up. We'll do 2 different things here. I said, Mark. If I touch the arm lightly, I need a heavier chop. Got it? If I hit the arm hard, I need a lighter chop, and I still get him going out. Do you see that? I just light. If I touch the arm light, heavier chop. Yin and yang. Got that? Opposites. So when this hand moves, if one touches, the other has to chop hard. If this one actually hit this man's arm harder than you saw there, with his weight, I didn't want him dropping. I think you were at the other seminar where I did drop him, and he went so fast no one could catch him. If I hit that arm hard, or I've hit that arm hard with one of the other techniques, I need less of a chop. He's going to go down. He's down. Ribs on this side. On this side, there's a gallbladder activation point between the 3rd and 4th rib up here. 3rd and 4th rib up, it activates the gallbladder. I sometimes zip them, but I always make sure I get to the 3rd and 4th. It really would be done, and I'm going to show you this for several reasons, because that fits in with a lot of things in the kata. That kata does a lot of crossing, a lot of attacking. That can be in here to here. I just need a touch or hit palm. Here, hit here. Now put your feet together. But if I hit the palms on this gallbladder point, he's going out, out, and down. Sorry. Okay. Vision. Okay. That's one mapping out. Ribs, head. Ribs, head. That is also the source that we use for the U-punch that's in that kata. The U-punch, though, you can't practice. It's like the eye thing I showed earlier. You can't go punch people under the eyebrow. I really can't punch him on these two dots with rib activation, because that actually can kill, or there's a chance of it. I just did this to his head. Sometimes if you catch him right, you don't even need the ribs, because there are 3 points there. Just stand up here quick. Right here are 3 points. I didn't do anything. Sometimes with this kind of emotion. Set him up, set him up, set him up, set him up, set him up. Stay there a second. Sometimes with that was right on all 3. If you lock on all 3, he's going out. You certainly don't want to see him, or you might want to see it, but you certainly don't want him hit in the ribs and punch up there. There are kata sanchin even that does this, and they are mapping ribs activation and head activation. You might get a little headache. I'll take it away when we're finished here. So that's what you're doing when you come forward with these. I use those in my mind. If you do a kata in your mind, that you know where you're attacking. I see some of these same dots I'm making on people when I'm alone doing my kata. When I see these dots in my mind, I don't have to be practicing on people. I don't have to be doing what you see happening to these other people. I don't need to do that every night. I don't do it, I only do it at seminars. And my students won't quit. Some of your students will. In my mind, when I do this, I see ribs and head. I see arms and head. I sometimes even just see eyes. The eye, weak spot, that's a vital point. I use that in my mind. Stand up. Let's say he's punching or had grabbed. I use this. Eyes. I sometimes see just the collarbone. I sometimes see it as a chop. I sometimes see it as eyes. When you stick the eyes with all the fingers, if I stick this eye, that eye shuts in water. Sympathetic nervous system makes the other eye water too. Quick way out of a fight situation. Eyes, he's like that, I could run. The third one in the kata could be eyes or chop. Eyes or chop. Nose, eyes or chop, because the nose hit from that angle causes the eyes to shut. And the step back to this in the kata is actually a neck break. When I steer the head this way and hit eyes with my palm hitting here, I am actually taking the head from the opposite side and the jaw, which I cannot do here because, as you saw earlier, I did almost injure someone, but I would actually take the head and go like this. Drop to this position. That's that move in the kata. I am actually taking the head and doing that, and my movement to here has him falling, but I'm doing that to his head, and his body weight breaks or injures his neck. The next move in the kata is somewhat self-explanatory because you grab, break a leg, turn the opposite direction. If he grabbed me or I grabbed him and I was doing any technique, I am to turn sideways to really get a good against the joint. There it was. Release it against the joint and force a leg break. So when you do that in the kata, you are to shove knee high and have learned pressure points of the leg and be turning the other way, force that leg to break. When you do this move in the kata, this move, and this move. We've showed that at other seminars, but you have pressure points on top of the head that release the neck. You come here. Right here, the head rounds. There are actually 4 pressure points, 2 here, 2 here. These 2 release the side. These 2 release the other side. If I grab somebody, the move is like this in the kata. These knuckles go right into those points. And look what happens. Everybody see what happens? Can you resist that move? Try to resist a little bit. That makes it hurt more. No. And the move, actually, this move in the kata is not striking his ribs. I couldn't hurt this man's ribs. Tighten your ribs up. I could hit these all day long from that angle and direction and not hurt him. But when my hands go up, 2 moves in the kata mean I can use either hand on either side. And it also means if he grabbed me, you ain't out of it that easy. Just grab my arm, so don't grab him. If he grabs me and has any kind of meanness in those arms, it makes this weaker. And that strike is to here, where you saw me making the dots, which you cannot hit here if you are up here. He'll pass out light like that. Sorry. But hard could injure or kill because you have the electricity going this way through the brain. So that's why that move is hard in the kata. So in essence, this tells me that if my opponent grabbed me, these spots are weaker. Stand up. Thicker the hair, the weaker these points. Thicker the hair, the weaker. Thinner the hair, less vulnerability there. No hair, usually no vulnerability. But a person that has no hair here and has hair just on the sides, just stand up. Come up here, quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think it's another video. But he might 50-50. Doesn't have vulnerability there. But because there's hair here, that means there's energy or there wouldn't be hair. There's no energy here. He's standing here smiling, so there ain't too much brain either. No. Right here are points, right where you see the portions of the skull join, and I can catch him here and hit. So when they have hair there, I can control the neck. And it's not a hair pull. Some people think I'm pulling the hair. I let these knuckles go in right there. See the pain on him? See the pain? I put these knuckles in those points, and I use this to strike the other side of the neck. Understand the meaning of that move now? You can sit down. The thicker the hair. I've had thick hair. Of course, people, you grab it, that tears come to their eyes, because it does affect the optic nerve. When you're on that cranial nerve up there, and it affects the optic nerve, and you'll see their eyes, they can't see. Almost even, they don't go blind, but they, like a flash bulb, hit them in the eyes. With that technique, if they mean to grab you, you grab them and do that and strike. When you step up into kata and go like this, that is the single action of the technique you saw me do on Rick or on the other guy. 1, 2, 3. This is the windshield wiper. The windshield wiper hitting the arms, strike the jaw, different technique. When you did this, that is again a neck break. You take his head up and away from him. Understand? So stand up just quick where you are. We don't want to spend too much time on this. But if I hit here, and had he grabbed me, I would be hitting the arms as I hit here. You've seen the effect. Let's say it dizzies him and doesn't knock him out. That's why the hands climb like that. I would actually take this over here on the same point you saw on that man's head. I would catch the points like that. And I would be over here, which I don't want to do because I can throw his neck out. But I would actually go like that with his head. And if his head's up there, and you've knocked him out and his body isn't, he's in a heap of trouble. One technique that a lot of you have in the kata is this. How many katas do you know that go, don't they? Yes? Who wants me to do that technique on him? I need a volunteer again. Come on out. Good. I want to get out here and get beat on. Okay, come right over here. The technique goes like this. That means the hand is meeting the foot with the 50-50. The person could grab me, we could be arguing, he could be like that, or he could grab, it doesn't matter. He could be a one-hand grab, a two-hand grab. You practice the technique from a standstill, from a grab, from a two-handed grab. You are to kick the leg points, which I'm going to be careful not to do and break the knee. I'm just going to kick the leg. When you kick the leg points, use the small intestine points that meet right behind the shoulder. Go opposite leg. This happens every time, and that punch you're going to do in the kata is going to finish him off. Because you're going to punch where the small intestine comes in by the ear, and you're on 3 small intestine points if you did this part right. Understand that? And he didn't know that was going to happen. Did you hear him? Oh, I'm going to get it now. So this is what you're after. Everybody you do that to, every kata, when you do this, that's what you be thinking. You know, people tell me that this is taking their foot and holding his head and kicking him upside the head. You cannot do that to anybody. And you cannot get his head and pull it down there, resist. I cannot pull his head down to kick up there. Unless I study Taekwondo. And become a Taekwondo turtle. I pull here. But with pressure points, maybe, but not even that. But these, I can get him and pull for there. The thing that this tells you is that the hand and foot have to be 50-50. Hand and foot 50-50. Look, 50-50. 50-50. And regardless of who you are and how strong you are, you cannot resist this 50-50. And that doesn't it look like the move in the kata? And then the next one is 2 punching. Okay, Steph. Downward punches. Downward punches. Practice this at home. Go home and do this. Most people think kicking up at the testicles hurt the testicles. And they do, but how many people have you seen at a tournament kicked in the testicles and you bounce them or they get their air and they're still ready to fight? When you get home and you get nude, go like this and tap your testicles up and tap them down. See if down doesn't hurt more. Understand? The nerve into the testicles comes from the body and goes that direction. Kicking up on the testicles, the nerve gets to relax. And you have a little bit of, it still hurts and it can injure you. They say kicks and punches to the area can kill. That's true. But the punches and the kicks would get a person in this position or bent over, and your front kick would be down, would be like a thrust in and down. That injures the testicle more than up. So if someone grabs you in close, and you go and punch down into the groin, he drops down. You have to experiment on your own body with that and tap yourself a little bit. And you'll say, hey, you know, this ain't so bad, but this hurts. And that's what you're doing when you punch in the downward mode. When you drop back in that kata, the U punches are exactly where I was showing you mapped out, but again, because they are punches to those areas, could injure somebody. It doesn't mean you're going to kill somebody. but it does mean there's a little percent of a chance, so that means we don't do them. When you do these particular techniques in a form, we have various methods and motions that we use. Most basic is to grab the arm and be attacking on the inside of the heart point, back on the tricep point. Here, come up here quick. Let's say he's punching with the left hand at me. I catch here. This is the meaning back here. That was going to put him down. That's the meaning of this. When you did this, and you do the other one, means you could do it to either arm. I did it for the camera. But you also, let's say he's punching with the right arm. I still am twisting, affecting the heart, and I'm doing what I showed you earlier not to do, hitting that bone where the heart line comes up, and I'm striking. And then grabbing the left arm and striking the other side, which means that that will work on that side and that will work on that side. When you do the kata, you go 45 to here. That a lot of times means that if I really want to get good positioning, let's say he's punching or hitting or had grabbed, I want good position by coming here, I go 45. That doesn't mean I stay here, he stays here. That means I go 45 to use this move. So that's why the 45. 45 to 45 means in a grappling situation to hurt this man more, I go and catch him here or here, and I go 45 to break the hand. I go from this 45 with my opponent, which we've covered that on other tapes, but for every action of man, muscle going one way, he cannot resist. For instance, man can resist this, but then he can't resist that. He can resist this, but then he can't resist that. That's to tell you that there, two-way action. That's to tell you that if you want to hurt somebody, even with the finger one, or the hand one, or anything here, if I want to hurt him, I attempt to go that way. When he resists my going that way, then I take him that way and put him down. So this should tell you that in the kata. And then this means you could have done it with the other hand, back to home. Up and finish of the kata. That's kata Bassai. We've only touched in that kata today. You could spend 10 years in that kata. I have techniques I haven't even shown today on tape. Some that get deadlier than that, and deadlier than that, or better and more effective. If you know and practice the kata, now we taught you the kata today. We have close to 70 people here today. A great turnout. Great turnout for a tremendously hot day. Hot day, packed in room, but you know the kata. If you practice the kata, and you know all the pressure points involved in that kata, that's the only kata you would need to defend yourself. And that's the way I understood that the man who created the kata, his name was Bassai, and I understand that that's the way he did the kata. Thank you.